Why, hello and welcome everybody. Also good morning. So today I'm here to bring you edition number 4 of our Bear Druid. I'd like to say that this version of the Druid is by far the smoothest to clear with, the least clunky to play, and has great single target. So there's been a lot of changes, of course, in the Mobalytics pinned down below. You're going to be able to see them. This is the current tree that I am rocking with. Doing a little bit of experimental stuff going into the dragon form here. Even though we're not using it, we can benefit from the bonus lightning damage. I also want to state that I am currently using armor energy shield gear, and I think it's complete bait. I have done some testing in the early game with Scarred Faith. It seems like I need way more armor than I can possibly get right now to make use of this. The primary reason for this is to regenerate this energy shield buffer, and the other alternative would be getting Zealot's Oath. The problem with Zealot's Oath is I currently have a net regen of like 41, and that's just not really very ideal. Like, it's okay, but all of that regen is basically coming from one support gem, which is Vitality on this right here. Now, before we jump into a map, I'm just going to show you guys with what we're rocking with. I've got Maul right now with Rage 3, Rapid Attacks, Close Combat, and Conk Effect. This is basically like your filler. Pounce, I very rarely use it. I primarily use it for bossing to trigger Holy Descent. Rampage, which is exclusively for bossing now. I've got Momentum, Bourgeon, I don't know how to say it, but it's fun to say that. Magnified Area, probably should swap this with something else now, and Close Combat. Walking Calamity, which is the majority of what we're doing now. Prolonged Duration, Rapid Attacks. I don't know how good this is, but if you look at Calamity, it does specifically say that it has attack speed scaling, so I opted out for Rapid Attacks instead of Conk Effect. Maybe I should use Concentrated Effect, but I'm not quite sure there. Hourglass, because our Calamity currently lasts 30 seconds, and Primal Armament, since it does have full conversion, and because it has full conversion, we can benefit 100% from elemental damage scaling. Furious Slam, which is something that we use in between if we need extra damage. We've got Fist of War 2, Close Combat, and Rage Forge. Now down below here, we've got Berserk. This is something I'm currently testing. It's kind of like Blood Rage from POE 1, where you're going to have a more active playstyle. If you don't want Berserk, you could instead run Savage Fury in place of Berserk and just activate it for boss fights. This is going to give us damage all the time. However, it's going to cause us to degen. To offset that, I have a little bit of life regen. You can, not life regen, but leech on my gloves right here. This is going to work whenever we use Maul or whenever we hit with our right click, which is the Furious Slam, because those are physical skills, right? So the leech is not really a problem. As long as you're just existing, you're going to leech. Now, over here, I've got Magnified Area on Herald of Ash, and on the Ferocious Roar, we have Magnified Area, Raging Cry, and Efficiency. This is how we are brute forcing our rage. So, next up thing would be to talk about the Ascendancy. I'm being really lazy, so I haven't ascended again. Instead of going for a Furious Wellspring, I opted to go for Avatar of Evolution and Reactive Growth to be more tanky. Being melee in Path of Exile 2 with absolute poo-poo gear feels terrible, so having something that brute forces our defenses just makes it feel a lot more comfortable. So that's one thing to note. My gear is really bad. I haven't traded for a single thing yet. The next thing I'm thinking of doing is getting Turning of the Seasons, because we are very heavy on Elemental right now, so free exposure along with bonuses extra Elemental can help us chill bosses and just get some extra damage. And then potentially I want to look into Sacred Flow and or Wisdom of the Maj. So with that being said, I'm going to go jump into a map and show you guys what we've got. We're level 80. Let's go jump into this map right over here. Slick. Now, at the start of a map, what I recommend you do is you're going to want to go ahead and use your Ferocious Roar. You then want to dump Rage with your Furious Slam. By doing this, you're going to instantly gain endurance charges. It's just part of what happens on Bear naturally. If we click Bear form here, you can see an example of what you get for being in Bear form if you are curious. So, step 1 is generating some Rage. So here's an example. You can dump like that, and then that's going to give us the endurance charge, which we can use to now double cast our Ferocious Roar. So let's just look for like a pack of mobs. So Roar 1, Roar 2, there's our Calamity, you can see. To generate this Calamity, what happens is when you're at full rage, right, The excess rage will turn into glory. This skill condition requires glory to use, so simply brute forcing with the Warcry can make it really, really clean. From here, it's pretty simple. You can quite literally walk up, you can maul mobs, and you can throw down the occasional slam to kind of make sure that they die. So here's like a slam, for example. What I like to do is hit with the maul first and then follow up with the slam. The reasoning for doing this is if you look at the skills, I'm not going to show it right now. If the bear is in standing form, you can eliminate part of the attack time, which makes it feel really good. Now, once the Calamity falls off, you can see our rage is completely depleted. That's because I didn't pay attention to it, and the Calamity is not even close. We do, however, have 3 endurance charges, and, right, this is off cooldown, which means we can cast it 4 times. So what I'm going to literally do right now is just Warcry spam. I do want to state that I spec'd into Warcry nodes on the tree with a weapon swap. Weapon swapping breaks Calamity, and if you weapon swap your Warcry, you need to double cast your skills to get out of it. You can look at the previous video if you want to understand what that means. If there's a rare mob, we can guarantee our Calamity pops up in like 2 seconds. So here we go. We're just going to Warcry, Calamity's up, activate it. I think I'm dying because I don't have like cap fire res here, so this burning ground is absolutely deleting my character. You can see our res is not ideal. That.
I'm not ready yet.
I'm hoping that when we pivot to pure armor scaling, the character is going to feel a lot tankier with the armor as, like armor taken as elemental with a full proper setup. And you can see here that I'm going to intentionally take some damage and just auto, and you'll see the leech. Okay, well, I don't know what's happening there. Let's see here. There we go. You can see just like auto attacking, the leech is really good there, right? Warcry, and then we're just going to Calamity again. Now, when the patch hits, assuming, you know, they're going to fix this, we're going to be able to save a lot of points on the tree. So if the character looks a bit odd, it's because we have so many points spec'd into duration, where ideally that would be our weapon swap. Our weapon swap ideally would be taking, like, this section here. I think there's another section I have here. We can save a lot of points and invest this into whatever it is that we want, essentially. Now, I know the character doesn't look super impressive yet, but have no fear, when we get to a boss, either he's going to one-shot my ass or I'm going to one-shot his, so let's see when we get over there. Usually it's pretty safe for bossing, because we trigger a stun right away, and then they pretty much just die after that. What I like to do if you're surrounded like that, I'll typically Warcry, Calamity, and then instantly go into the Stomp on my right click here. Because again, when you're standing, it reduces the attack time of the skill, making it a lot cleaner to use. I'm definitely looking at the new fire-based talisman. I forgot what it's called exactly, but the one that does like big conversion. That would give us a lot of damage on our pure physical skills, and it would still leave a little bit of damage as physical, so we can benefit from things like Life Leech and potentially Armor Break in the future. Is this the boss checkpoint right here? Ah, okay, so here's the boss. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna activate our Walking Calamity. And then I'm quite literally going to right click. And now we're going to go ahead and go on a rampage. The goal here is you just hold down the key and you're just going to try to do circles around the target. When you run out of rage, like I did there, you're supposed to Warcry, but I messed up. So once you run out of rage, you just use your Ferocious Roar, and then you get all the rage back because it's a boss. And then you can continue on a rampage again. The goal here is to kill the boss basically before it does anything. So that's pretty much what we're aiming for. Again, the degen that I have is due to the Berserk gem. If you don't want degen, you can do what I explained earlier, where you just use the other support instead. Not the other support, but the other gem called Savage Fury. And what Savage Fury does is you can activate it to essentially get like 25-30 seconds of Berserk, essentially, with its own set of degen, but you get a little bit more damage because it also gives you Onslaught. Maybe a little bit less because of how much rage we have, but that's another option for people. I might end up incorporating that as well. I do also want to state that I forgot to use the leap skill, so if you notice here I'm degenning. If we use our jump, we'll actually regen. And the reasoning for that is because Pounce is creating our consecrated ground that you can see here, which gives us bonus life regen. So that also helps on the boss fight. I forgot to do that. I've been respecking the character so much, so we're constantly on this like back and forth battle of like, what did I recently change? Oh, okay, I did that, I see. This version so far feels the best to me. I still want to maybe get more duration on Calamity or figure out exactly what we're going to go do. So definitely going to have to go look at the lineage supports, figure out if I'm using the like optimal links. There's a lot of stuff to still discover. Alright, and that is pretty much the character. Rude. Okay, there we go. That's pretty much the character. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know how your adventures on Druid has been going. Mine has been like this up and down slope where I try something, I'm like, this is pretty good, and then I realize it's not actually very good, so definitely like a love-hate relationship. But I think swapping over to pure armor, especially like with the life regen implicit here, I think the full armor in conjunction with the armor taken as elemental is going to go a long way, especially on the bear, primarily because the bear is giving us a ton of flat armor. We get to scale that with percent armor, and then we naturally get armor applies to elemental as bear, and then we can stack that as well. And then in conjunction with the shaman node here for Avatar of Evolution, providing us with fizz taken as extra element alongside things like Molten One's Being, which is also giving us conversion. I think we can make the character pretty tanky, so that's kind of what we're going for. Anyway, catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember, if you did, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to catch me streaming live every day at twitch.tv/Pohx. Down below in the links, I'm going to drop the mobilytics so you guys can follow along with the written planner. There's going to be a few things out of date because we're in this constant respec battle, but I hope this helped you guys out. So thanks for watching.